Hello guys, and welcome to a new video. I know I haven't put up a new video in a very long time, and I'm awfully sorry. So if you've been missing me, I'm really sorry. I'm just working on a really big project, and this is just taking up a lot of time, and there's also various other things going on that need to be taken care of. So I hope you'll forgive me. I hope this is gonna be an awesome video to make up for all the waiting. Right, so I want to jump right into this now. Okay, so today is the day that my favorite football player of all time um, returns to his home. Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much his home. I mean, he refers to Manchester United being his home. That's where he became one of the greatest in the world. And I've been a fan for 15 years, so it's been a while. And I'm just really thrilled to see him back at his old club, putting on a red shirt this afternoon for the first time since he left the club 12 years ago. So I think it's going to be awesome. And as you know, 12 years, that's roughly a Jupiter cycle. That's the time that Jupiter takes to move through the whole of the zodiac. And I thought that was something quite significant. So let's just say I just jumped at the occasion. I just wanted to really have another good look at his chart, and just look back and see if there's anything you can see, like tracing back, looking at his past choices, like when he changed clubs, if that also has anything to do especially with the cycle of Jupiter. So of course I found many super exciting and interesting things, and yeah, so I would like to share them with you right now. So first of all, you see here two charts, right? So don't get confused. These are two different charts for two different birth times. We have there are two contradicting birth times for Cristiano's birth. One is the time that his mother gave, and the other is the one on his birth certificate. And even his older sister, Elma, she said apparently it's a bit strange why they would put this time. There was no explanation why this time was on the birth certificate, because they were all pretty much clear that the time that the mother had given was the correct time. So we see the time that is on the birth certificate is the one on the right. Yeah, so that would give him a Capricorn rising with Neptune on it. And the other one is the time that his mother gave, and it's got Aries rising, and it's got Neptune right on the midheaven. So that's, interestingly enough, so the Neptune is in a very strong position no matter what, because obviously it's in an exact square to the ascendant, so it influences both the expression of the ascendant to a really large extent, as well as everything concerning the midheaven, right? So Neptune is really strong. It's a really strong position. And also, of course, we've got Mars, Venus here, like on the ascendant, for the time that the mother gave. And I wrote an article on Sir Alex Ferguson a couple of years back, and I also mentioned Cristiano, because they have such a strong connection, relationship. You know, Cristiano always refers to Sir Alex as being his father in football, and he was like a father substitute because he lost his own father quite early. Unfortunately, he was an alcoholic. That's another story for another day. But it's interesting that Sir Alex, he's a Capricorn sun, and he was born on the same day as Cristiano's mother. And also, as some of you may know, Cristiano was with Russian supermodel Irina Shayk for 5 years, and she's a Capricorn sun as well. So there must be something significant in terms of Capricorn energy there, because otherwise there wouldn't be this strong connection. That's what I feel strongly. So he's got the Capricorn axis, the Capricorn Cancer, obviously, the Capricorn Cancer axis. He's got, in any case, it's just a question: is it the ACDC or is it the ICMC, right? So it's either that one or it's the horizontal one here. So I was not sure about this time. I mean, obviously, we all know how disciplined, how incredibly ambitious, how just ecstatic this man is. And he's strong. He's an achiever. He's an achiever. So I think that is something Capricorn, very Capricorn like. And the midheaven also shows what you're known for, like your public role, how people perceive you in public. And there's this very charitable Neptune on top as well. So be it on the midheaven or on the ascendant, and I think this really shines through in Cristiano as well, because there is a tiny, there's something um shy and modest, and also obviously he gives large amount of money to people in need, and he's helped so many children who needed surgery. So there's that side of him. But also I think he's a very energetic person. Like when you see him on the pitch, he's very fiery as well. He's got quite a temper. Obviously, Moon and Venus both in fire signs, and also he was born under Leo full moon. um, and I think there are a lot of things that speak for this Aries rising, also with Mars Venus here. That is very strong. I think that really defines him. Like also the way that he takes, like his incredible physique. He's still so incredibly fit, and keeps himself in top shape. And obviously there is Mars in this position. Some of you may know about this Gauquelin rule, well, rather not rule, but the study that showed that many top athletes had Mars rising, yeah, Mars in the 12th. So the ascendant is just passed, yeah, only a couple minutes ago. Obviously, Aries is a fast rising sign, so that would be the exact spot to define an absolute super athlete, yeah. And also with Venus on top, he's got such a, he attracts people. I read that even the Queen has ordered Ronaldo shirts and Ronaldo autographs. So I mean, that's like just the effect that he has on people. And also he's there's a sharpness, there's a sharpness to him. Also the way he understands things, the way he replies, I think he's quick. He's quick when he expresses himself, and he's also quick to lose his temper on the pitch. That has toned down a bit over the years. So obviously, he was a different player like a decade ago. But I think this a lot of things speak for this Mars Venus there. The physical, and also just the way also he comes across, and also the placement of the sun and the moon in the 11th and the 5th house respectively. So that would just emphasize um, like the team player versus the individual person, right? Some people always say he's just all about um, his own glory and ego stuff, but he never tires of speaking about how much he loves being part of the team, and the team effort. And it's just the opposition that he has. Like he has to um, just find compromise between these two. Yeah, so he's just an outstanding player that plays a team sport, which is Aquarius. But there's the Leo moon, and that is a need to be recognized for your own achievements, especially with the moon in the 5th house, and also being the ruler of the 5th house. And obviously he's got 4 children now, so we have to find the children in there as well. Yeah, so I mean, this is a huge love of children, and he's always said he wanted some. He even said he wants a whole football team or half a football team or something. So he's got four now. There's still time. Yeah, but so Moon in the Fifth are definitely a love of children, and also, you know, the whole family thing. And I think this is something that is, there is still this axis. It's not the rising, but it's still quite strong, because obviously Sir Alex, as a Capricorn sun, he has had a huge influence on his career, because he spotted him as a talent in the summer of 2003. Yeah, 2003. So I'll mix up all the dates, because I've got a long list of dates here. And so Capricorn obviously is the sign of career advancement, and so I think there's definitely connection there. And then just the incredible coincidence, which of course not a coincidence, of him sharing his mother's birthday. Yeah, so but there's 5 hours difference between those two times. I don't want to go into the other chart too much, because I really want to show you the Jupiter cycle stuff relating to his various stages over the years, regarding the clubs that he played for. So we leave it at that for now. I think there's a lot that speaks for this birth time, and the mothers seem to be quite sure about it. So really, it's no explanation why they got it wrong on the birth certificate. Good. So I will leave this chart, and I'll see if we can change this one. Yeah. So the first chart I want to show you is the summer of 2009. So more like July, August. Yeah, so that's normal. That's the transfer window. That's when they make the new announcements, when players can change clubs, all the rest of it. So let's go about, yeah, end of July, August, maybe more like August. Let's go to 15th of August. It doesn't really matter, because you can clearly see, what I want to show you. Maybe it was in July. Let's go with July. Okay, so right. So this is the summer of 2009. And the summer of 2009 was the time when Cristiano left Manchester United for the first time after 6 seasons at the club. And he had his childhood dream fulfilled, to play for Real Madrid. So he left for Spain 12 years ago. And as you can see, Jupiter here was, now I'll show you the other one, in a square to his natal Saturn, but that would be the ruler of the midheaven, right? And Jupiter would be ruling the 9th, so that's the growth, that's the development, that's the next level. There's also making a wish come true or a dream come true. And it was a struggle, obviously, because they tried to keep him, because he had become such an incredible player after 6 years in Manchester. But they didn't want to be in his way, because it was such a huge dream, and they granted his wish and they let him leave. So that's the dynamic of the square, right? So it was not that easy, but it certainly makes sense, this activation. Let me see if I can put this around so it's easier to see, for those of you not so used to just looking at individual charts. Right, so you've got Uranus here, Jupiter squaring Saturn exactly during that time, and Saturn being the midheaven ruler, right? So that was 2009, and now 12 years later, let's see, what we can find here. So that just happened recently, right? August, end of August, the announcement. 27th, I think it was. And look at that. There's Jupiter again in the exact same place. They're squaring Saturn again. And that's the time he comes back. Isn't that incredible? That is, I find that absolutely incredible. And I think it really makes sense. I mean, if you look at the, the question of, is this birth time the correct one? And in between, there was a time in 2018 in the summer where he came very, 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 very close to coming back. He came very, very close. There was a couple of old teammates involved. There were mainly it was Rio Ferdinand. He's a good mate of his, I believe. They really got along, and they kept in touch all the time. Obviously, he kept in touch with Sir Alex and several more. Yeah, but that is a time where like Rio and the rest, they're nearly nearly convinced him to come back, because he was quite unhappy in Madrid. There was problems with the manager, or contract problems. And there was a lot of debate, a lot of discussion, and he was quite close to coming back. And look at Saturn here. Saturn on the midheaven. Yeah, exactly at that time. 3 years ago. So he was unhappy. He wanted a change. And he was nearly convinced to come back. So there was definitely the question of a lot of question marks around the future of his career, right? So that definitely makes sense with Saturn being in this position 3 years ago. But it was not yet time to return, apparently. The stars were not quite ready, but very interesting to see Saturn here on the midheaven. That was another big change, because he was in Spain for 9 years. 9 years. At that point. And what he did was, he did leave the club and he went to Italy. Yeah, so for the past 3 years, he's been in Italy, and so there was some decision needed to be made here. There was also Saturn can always be an indicator of an ending, yeah, a new chapter, especially in such a dominant position here on the midheaven. So that was already a shift in a different direction. So I think one could definitely say that that Spanish chapter came to a close, and it was time again for a new experience. But it was not quite the time to come home. Obviously, much to the chagrin of Rio, Sir Alex, and others involved. But yeah, this Saturn, I think, is really very, very significant, and I think it makes much more sense have Saturn being on the midheaven rather than on the ascendant. In the other chart, with the other birth time, we would have Saturn on the ascendant instead. Obviously, also super significant, but I think it's just, this is so career related and life path related. So I think it makes a lot of sense there. There was some really fundamental things probably going on, and decisions that needed to be made for the future, and it was a long back and forth. It was really a big struggle. So I think this was really an absolute Saturn on the midheaven sort of situation, right? Also, by the way, in the summer of 2009, there was transiting Pluto on the midheaven. Show you this very quickly. right? See, transiting Pluto on the midheaven. So and Pluto in the natal chart rules the eighth house. Um, looks like quite a bit of a transformation there. Um, that was the time when he left for Spain, and it was a huge thing for him. Yeah. So now back to the present. Now back to the present. Yeah, so you see Jupiter is in the same place again, where it was 12 years ago. And then obviously when we look at cycles, everything in astrology, I think we have to go back to the root. Yeah, we have to go back to the root to make to see the bigger picture, to just see how everything fits, like the pieces of the jigsaw, like how they come together, um, to make sense of the whole thing. So we've had Jupiter here, and in 2009 in the same place. Sorry, 2009, not 2020, not that fast. So apparently something, this is like a magical spot for Jupiter here in the last degrees of Aquarius. Whenever Cristiano and Man United, something's going on between them. And so when it all started, that was 2003. Oh no, look at this. That was when when Sir Alex first spotted an 18-year-old Cristiano. And it was, I think it was a friendly match or something of Sporting Lisbon, where he was playing at the time. And United and Sir Alex spotted this youngster, and he was thoroughly impressed, and he just bought him straight away. He just knew that he had something or someone just very special in front of him, so he must have felt that on the first moment. And now you see what Jupiter's position here, it's exactly opposite. It's opposite that Jupiter of when he left United and 12 years ago, and right now when he came back. So when he first joined, Jupiter was here. So actually every time this Jupiter is triggered, and it was triggered twice in opposition, that was when he left and when he came back. So I find this is just incredible, and it just proves that astrology is the thing. And it even applies to football. I found that incredible. That's a really important piece of information, like, just looking back at when did it all start, because just looking at the chart, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, this is why I said you always have to go back to the roots, or like when it happened the first time. Just just like a chart, a natal chart is the moment that a human life takes its, it's the beginning. It's just the first time something happens, or it's the moment when it all started. Because just looking at the two charts for 2009 and the one for now, you see, oh yeah, Jupiter is in exactly the right place, but you can't really make a connection. Why is it exactly in this place? And here, around here, end of Aquarius. So why is it there? And then you look at when did he first join, and you see Jupiter exactly opposite. So Well, I mean, that gives me hope that he may stay another 12 years. Maybe not that long, unfortunately. Age is going to catch up with him as well at some point. But yeah, I just think this is really um, incredible to see that it's everything. It's just everything goes in cycles, and it's like a clock. This is like clockwork. This is like truly is like clockwork. And if we look ahead just a little bit, beginning of next year, that is very, very interesting. Okay, so we leave the transit still in the outer wheel, right? And inside it's the natal. Um, hang on. Right. So January, February, Saturn, transiting Saturn will be on Cristiano's sun, on his natal sun. So that obviously is it's always a defining moment, and I think it's especially so if Saturn is your 10th house ruler, your career house ruler. So that may be the time where there is another like really some defining moment. I think there's something positive, something where he really we're even more like something like even more recognition, or like a truly like a standout moment, a standout achievement in his career, now back at his old club, where he feels like he's home and he just belongs there. And also Pluto, transiting Pluto, is in a sextile to Saturn, so there's like a double activation related to the 10th house. I think that is quite significant. And obviously Pluto is quite a mighty force, always a force to be reckoned with. And I think it just it shows that this will maybe be really a defining time, really, where he will feel this looks very solid. Pluto, Saturn, like almost like if he's leaving his mark in an even more significant way, be it in terms of recognition and trophies, whatever, or just really being. It's a standout. It looks like it's going to be a standout time, and obviously the sextile, the Pluto sextile. I see that quite positive. So maybe it could also just be a time where he really where he feels that he's made all the right decisions, that this was the perfect time to come back and to just win more. That's what he wants. He said, "I'm not here on a vacation. I want to win more trophies." And even at the age of 36, he's in perfect shape to do that. So I think with a Saturn, that strong Saturn activation, I think time will prove him right. And this looks like something really significant in terms of also, of course, his personal growth and knowing where he stands. And just I think it's got a lot to do with recognition and all this hard work and discipline will surely pay off. I mean, it's been paying off throughout his career, because he's the way he trains, and it's crazy. His discipline is crazy, and he invests so much in his in staying in top physical shape. So I think that has to do with that as well. Obviously Sun Moon also very significant, both being triggered by Saturn. So I hope this is going to be even better for him, just really solidifying his position, knowing he's in the right place. And that he's loved. People are happy to have him back, and yeah, it looks like it's all going to go very well for him. Okay, so I hope you found this interesting. So it's only the time I'm recording this, just checking the clock. Yeah, so it's only one more hour until the game starts, and I hope I'll be able to upload this on time. But obviously, once it's uploaded, you'll be able to watch it. Leave me a comment if you know, if maybe you've made your own observations, astrology wise. I would love your comments. Love to hear what you're thinking, and I hope to see you all soon. And I hope that I won't leave it quite as long before I post the next video. I hope to, I promise to be better. It's just a lot going on, but I put it on my list, and obviously if there's any update to make on this, maybe early next year, January, February, like as we were just looking at the transits, Saturn Pluto stuff going on early next year, maybe that would be a good time to check in with an update. So I hope you're all well, and I see you on the next video very soon. Bye bye.